the largest IPO in the history of mankind. SpaceX went public, priced at $135 a share, raising roughly $75 billion, pushing its valuation toward $1.77 trillion. It is everywhere, every financial network, every feed, every conversation. You literally cannot escape it. And I am going to tell you something that most people chasing this IPO today do not want to hear. SpaceX is not going to 10 times from here. It simply cannot. Think about the math for a second. When a company comes public at $1.77 trillion, for it to 10 times, it would have to become a $17 trillion company. That is larger than almost anything that has ever existed. SpaceX is an incredible business. Starlink, the rockets, the entire ecosystem Elon has built is genuinely world-changing. But as an investment, as a way to actually multiply your money, buying at nearly a $2 trillion valuation is not where the explosive gains live. The explosive gains live in the company nobody is talking about today, the one quietly sitting in SpaceX's shadow. The stock is RKLB, Rocket Lab. Now here is the thing most people get completely wrong. They assume Rocket Lab and SpaceX are direct competitors, fighting over the same business. They are not. SpaceX is the Cadillac, the massive rockets carrying massive payloads into orbit. Rocket Lab plays a different game. They specialize in dedicated small launch. Rocket Lab is the world's third largest rocket launch service provider, trailing only SpaceX and China's space program. Their Electron rocket is the second most frequently launched rocket in the entire United States. They have deals with NASA, with government agencies, with commercial satellite operators all over the planet. But here is what really matters. Rocket Lab is no longer just a launch company. They are transitioning from a small satellite launcher into a vertically integrated space infrastructure giant, with their Neutron rocket nearing commercial operations. Launch, satellites, spacecraft components, space systems, an entire end-to-end space business being built right now. And the numbers prove it. In the first quarter of this year, revenue reached approximately $200 million, up 63.5% year-over-year, with a backlog of $2.2 billion. That is real, committed, signed future revenue. Gross margins rose to 43%. This is a company executing at a serious level while the crowd stares at SpaceX. Now let me show you why the timing on this is so important. NASDAQ officially announced after the close on June 11th that Rocket Lab will be added to the NASDAQ 100 index before the open on June 22nd. Do you understand what that means? Every single passive index fund tracking the NASDAQ 100, funds like QQQ, with tens of billions of dollars in assets, they are now required to buy Rocket Lab stock. That is forced institutional buying, automatic, mechanical, coming in just days. And then there is the SpaceX halo effect. Since rumors of the SpaceX listing first surfaced in late March, Rocket Lab has gained more than 57%. Why? Because as the world wakes up to the space economy, investors go hunting for the most direct, publicly traded way to play it. And Rocket Lab is widely seen as the most direct public alternative to SpaceX you can actually buy. Here is the difference that matters for your money. Rocket Lab has a market cap around $64 billion, still a bargain compared to SpaceX's target valuation of more than 100 times its 2025 sales. A $64 billion company has room to multiply. A nearly $2 trillion company does not. That is just how the math works. And Wall Street is starting to see it. One analyst rates Rocket Lab a buy with a price target of $196, representing significant upside, citing the SpaceX IPO as a catalyst that could reprice the entire space sector, AI increasing demand for space-based data infrastructure, and governments spending more on sovereign space capability. Another sees revenue scaling toward $2.5 billion by 2030. The whole thesis is this: the SpaceX IPO does not just lift SpaceX. It re-anchors how the entire market values space companies. It shifts the conversation from pure launch metrics to full platform economics. And Rocket Lab, with its launch business, its satellites, its spacecraft systems, and the Neutron rocket coming online, is positioned right at the center of that re-rating. Now let me be straight with you about the risk, because this is not a no-brainer. Rocket Lab is not cheap. It trades at a high multiple of sales. It is still posting losses as it invests heavily in Neutron development. SpaceX going public could temporarily absorb capital away from smaller space names. And Neutron has to actually launch successfully for this whole story to fully pay off. Some analysts are even saying take profits here after the big run. That is a real perspective, and you should weigh it. But step back and look at the bigger picture. The space economy is exploding. AI needs space-based data infrastructure. Governments are pouring money into sovereign space capability. The Neutron rocket is months from commercial operation. And the single largest IPO in history just put a giant spotlight on the entire sector. SpaceX is the story everyone is buying today. Rocket Lab is the opportunity almost nobody is buying. You cannot 10 times a $2 trillion company, but a $64 billion company executing this well, in a sector this hot, with forced index buying coming and Neutron on the runway, that is where the real money gets made. The crowd is chasing the headline. The smart money is buying what comes next.